little futuristic, though things are happening as of now. You might have seen the firefighters in field, either in photographs or in real life also. Most of the hardware we use is typical vehicles, fire vehicles, and sometimes ladders. Very recently we could procure a few robots, which are of course land-based or small robots which can aid in the firefighting in very difficult situations. Now this is the ongoing technology which has a lot of future. As we can see in a lot of war theaters around the world, a lot of drones are being used for the security, and then other war-like situations, and then of course internal security and disaster response operations also. Now the drones are increasingly used in security situations to enhance surveillance, then gathering of intelligence and monitoring potentially hazardous areas. I just saw just heard the previous speaker also. When we were in field in anti-Naxal operations, we were using not this kind of modern drones. That was a winged, typical, aeroplane kind of thing. So which was used by Telangana police, and later now I think Chhattisgarh people are also using that one. Drones are essential part in the border security, in maintenance of the law and order, and supporting military operations by providing real-time information and recce operations. Now, I had an opportunity to interact Hyderabad-based drone manufacturer. So I used to ask whether we are using these drones in border areas. He says, sir, that is classified, but rest assured we are using. But how best, that part we don't know, but the technology is already integrated into the border security. Then of course, in real-time intelligence gathering also, the drones are very useful. It will provide real-time data and then situational awareness for the affected areas. Then of course, drones are useful for to replace very expensive aircraft. Unmanned drone can be sent and then information can be gathered. Then of course, in law and order situations, these are essential requirement, particularly in large crowds like we might have seen Kumbh Mela very recently. And then we have used in Medaram Sammakka Sarlama Jatra, that is also very large gathering in Warangal district. Almost every 2 years this thing will be happening. Around 50 lakh people will be attending in that gathering. That is one important component in monitoring the crowds and then easing out the situation whenever there is a stampede kind of situation. Then of course these are the precision targeting. You must be seeing those things in Ukraine as well as the Gaza theaters. So precision targets, and then of course in between Houthi and American forces, the drones are used with missiles to neutralize specific targets. And of course the problem is the collateral damage while using these drones. Then of course the cost efficiency and scalability is also very important thing. In warlike situation, particularly in West Asia, and then of course in Ukraine also, you must have seen thousands of drones are used to attack the other party, the other groups. Of course, it requires significant investments, but the results will be like whatever the expectations of the assaulting party can have a decent results if we can use the drones extensively in those situations. I'm not good at that subject. Only this is for just information only. Now, the concerns with regard to this drone technology is, of course, the threat to national security. Drones falling in the hands of rogue elements is a big threat to the national security, as well as, of course, law and order also. Then, of course, in the industry, the availability of skilled manpower, the technology in the ecosystem is a major limitation. Then there are situations where GPS is denied. So in those environments, I don't think drones can actually work, except for those those drones which are kind of kamikaze kind of drones. Other drones may not actually work. Then the limitations on the battery life is a major problem in the drone related technology. Then, of course, the ethical and moral concerns. It's not, in most of the warlike situations, these drones are used, particularly in Ukraine and then West Asia. So the ethical concerns are really difficult to handle, and most of the time civilian communities are also targeted by these attacks. Now, that is basically with regard to the internal security as well as the external security issues, the use of drones. But within our country, and then of course in most of the countries, now the drones are being deployed. I cannot say that it's already deployed. Only in some situations we could see some deployment of the drones in firefighting situations, particularly for enhanced situational awareness. Then delivery of the essential supplies in particularly disaster kind of situations, and then assessment of the situation. And we also take the imagery from the drone feedbacks, and occasionally there are some drones which are capable of handling fire extinguishing agents, as you can see in that picture. So we were trying to procure one, but the problem with the cost and then returns is not favorable as of now. Maybe we may have to wait till little more technology improvement happens in this particular kind of drones. The firefighting drones are basically unmanned aerial vehicles where we can deploy for firefighting at rapid, for a rapid response in firefighting situations. And particularly in high-rise buildings where the access is available to reach the location. So, and then small fires are there and the firefighter is not able to reach that location. We can, so it's an imaginary situation, our situation depends, case to case. But we can deploy, this kind of drones. But as of now, in the field, only up to I think around 60 meters height is the achievable height by the drone. But with the tethering of the the water or mist materials, and then of course power line. But above that 60 meters, not really effective drones are available. Then, of course, the most important thing that can be used with the help of the drones is that the location of the hotspots in fire situation, then tracking of the fire spread, and of course the assessment of the fire intensity is one of the important aspect while using the drones in the firefighting situations. Of course, this is a little explanation of what I mean. The situation analysis. Now the technology is available to deploy the infrared cameras, and then the images can be read, or the video footage also can be seen live, and then we can take a call what kind of action has to be undertaken while fighting the fire, in those high-rise buildings or in industrial fires also. Then, of course, the information is very useful for the coordination of the firefighting operations. Then, of course, as I have mentioned, this is, of course, the thermal imaging. In thermal imaging, we can identify the hot spot. You can see, the brightest spot. So we can target the firefighting solutions to that hot spot so that the fire can be extinguished at earliest, fastest way. Then, of course, in search and rescue operations, particularly in smoke kind of situations also, the thermal imaging can help the extraction of the victims from the fire situations, and then helpful for the rescue operations. Now, the mapping and planning is also one of the important aspect, particularly in forest situations, and then difficult terrains. The mapping can be done. Then, of course, in urban areas also we can use the drones for mapping and planning of the fire-related preventive measures. And then we can also analyze the landscapes changes, after the fire or even before the fire, and then take adequate measures to improve the situation. Then the one more important thing is you can actually monitor the infrastructure related to firefighting, hydrants, and then water reservoirs, the availability of the water in the reservoirs and all that. So these are the general, the good things about the drones. But situation related to urban areas and other areas require little more sophistication because of the the narrow streets, high-rise buildings, and then the difficulty for the firefighters to reach the location, and the difficulty for the vehicles to go to that area, and then of course the risk of structural collapse, and due to the aged buildings of the cities, and of course the possibility of the human casualties in the urban fire situations. So the drones can be used for effective firefighting, provided the appropriate technology, and then of course the capacity of the drones can be improved in future. The challenges can be handled by the drones. You can see one of the examples of the drone where the drone has is loaded with the firefighting material, and then that can be dropped in the industrial situation or open yards, and then can be used for controlled fire, control of the firefighting situation. Then the most important things are rapid aerial assessment of the hotspots, then access to hazardous areas, particularly industrial areas. It is just difficult for firefighters to reach the fire situations where there are a lot of gases, and then inflammable materials are available. Then, of course, situational awareness for effective resource allocation. Then real-time data transmission, which will useful for management of the situation. Then thermal imaging for fire detection and personal location. Monitoring of the hazardous material spills or gas leaks in industrial area and warehousing areas. There are drones used in worldwide, but not much so in our country. Only CASF is having this kind of drones, very few number of drones. So the Government of India project is there, 15th Finance Commission grant. So in that we are allowed to procure some of the drones. But still the question is whether we will be able to use the drones in very serious fire situations. Now the technology change, with very rapid change of drone technology is also happening. So if you buy a drone now, by next year it is like, the version will be like very high version will be there, and then we feel regretted for buying the drone now. So we are waiting for appropriate technology. But in any case, in industrial situations, particularly chemical plants, oil refineries, warehouses and manufacturing facilities where fire hazard is very high, so these drones are useful for the firefighting operations. In the industrial situations, of course, the rapid situation assessment, then fire and smoke propagation monitoring, hazardous material detection, provided if we have appropriate sensors in the drones. Of course, the concerned, depending upon the sensitivity of the industry itself should be able to procure the appropriate drones with required technology. So these are the issues related to the industrial firefighting. Of course, the limitations are, of course, as you can see, the limited flight time of the drones is one major limitation with regard to the drones. Then, of course, weather conditions also, it prevents effective use of the drones. Then, of course, navigation of the dense areas, particularly in forest fire situations, is another major issue. The payload capacity has to be improved. There is no other way. In fire situation, we have to have large quantities of the fire extinguisher materials to be lifted by the drone or any aerial vehicle, so that the large areas can be covered in firefighting. So other than that, small quantities means is nothing in firefighting situation. Then, of course, regulatory and legal issues will be there. Then technical limitations like GPS interference and communication failures and all that. The cost benefits, you can say, faster response time, reduced risk to human rescuers, better coordination and data sharing, real-time situational awareness. These are the positive aspects of the drone. The limitations, I don't say negative, the challenges are battery limitations, weather conditions, legal and airspace regulations, and limited payload capacity. I'll add one more thing, the cost also. The drone manufacturer put the entire cost in the first drone. That is where we cannot even think of buying those things. As long as the cost is spread over a period of time and then bring down to a reasonable level, we cannot procure the drones for firefighting departments in general in this country, except Mumbai, maybe Karnataka, and sometimes Orissa. Rest of the states, they don't care about firefighting departments. Very limited resources are available, and that too, at the end of the March, we don't know whether the money will be paid or not. So this is each situation in general throughout the country. We have been interacting with other DGs and directors also. Similar situation is there almost throughout the country. Of course, as I have listed out, training requirements and public perception and privacy concerns, integration with the existing system, limited situational awareness, and then of course cost. These are the major concerns with regard to the drones for the firefighting situations. The technical specifications, these are all imaginary things, but it is achievable. So, the autonomous system with rapid deployment, extended range and prolonged flight time, all-weather operations, infrared and thermal sensors, powerful long-range detections, and real-time data transmission and analysis. These are achievable. I don't say that they cannot be done, provided appropriate cost is paid. Those things can be incorporated in the drones. The key takeaways. The first thing is, of course, integration of the AI and machine learning into the drones will improve the fire detection accuracy, optimize the flight route and enhance risk situations. Then drones can be deployed effective in various situations where humans cannot enter, and they can enter and then they can be useful. Then they can be integrated with the crisis management system so that the efficiency can be used. In the technology, the thermal imaging cameras, infrared sensors are very useful in hotspot detection and other situations. The drone implementation is cost effective compared to other hardware, other flying hardware, not the land-based hardware. It's effective, but still, unless the payload capacity is increased, we cannot actually put them in firefighting situation. Then, of course, the efficiency can be improved by coordination, then detection of the hotspots and the hazardous areas in the firefighting situation. Drones in rescue operation. These are the good things actually. We during last rainy season, there was severe floods in Khammam city. Some people were rescued by dropping this rescue life buoys into the water. As for search and rescue operations, there is no great equipment is available other than drone. These are the best for the search and rescue operations. They can reach in all kinds of situations and then all kinds of locations and then detect the people. Only thing is we can incorporate some amount of infrared capabilities, the live detection capabilities, so that it will be very useful for rescue operations. Then, of course, in disaster response, same thing I have explained. In floods, we have used already. Then, of course, earthquakes, we don't have experience. But landslides, the Kerala fire department, they use various equipment. I think they have some drones also. Then locating the survivors and then guiding the emergency crews is also very important aspect. Of course, delivery of the supplies, medical supplies, yes. Food and water, yes. Then communication devices, yes. It's already done. These things are already done in flood situations, even in this state also. And surprisingly, we don't have drone. Agriculture drones were used for this operation in Khammam district. Flood rescue operations, some photograph, not ours, but it has been done. It is used regularly by the NDRF and local rescue forces. Then difficult terrain rescue. Basically, we can drop some rescue equipment, and then if the payload capacity is increased to lift at least 2 human beings, then I think direct rescue operations also can be undertaken with the help of the drones. Drone technology has significantly enhance the firefighting and rescue operations by improving real-time data analysis, expanding operational capabilities, and enhancing safety and efficiency. For the rescue operations, basically real-time data analysis is one important thing, and automated search patterns. If these, the software can be incorporated for, automated search operations, that will be more useful rather than a person watching and then watching the live feeds. Then, of course, data visualization. This photograph is from a movie. It's a fascination from, what is that movie? I forgot. Tom Cruise movie. I hope somebody has seen it. Oblivion. So I used to wonder, when I spoke to that drone company person, I told, why don't you make a drone for police department for patrolling operations, and ask him to watch this movie. So we have a police tower in Hyderabad, road number 12, Banjara Hills. There is a helipad also. So you put the drone there, then at every defined interval, the drone should lift off from the helipad and then go and check the road number 12, road number 1, road number 3, whatever the road that was given, see if there is anything, any illegal thing happening, report to the control room, and then come back and get charged. So this is possible. It can be done. The police forces also can use these drones for regular patrolling and operations also, of course, apart from rescue operations. The technology improvements for firefighting and then rescue operations. Of course, vertical takeoff and landing, it is already there. Only thing is you have to add the additional payload to the drones. Then, of course, as I have mentioned, payload capacity and delivery is one important aspect. The communication and coordination. Actually, drones can be useful for communication relay. Particularly, they can be used as a repeater station, particularly in flood-affected situations and cyclone-affected area situations, like something like that happened in Andhra, Hudud, and then Orissa, Bengal. Very repeatedly, these things do happen. In those situations, most of the communication, including police communications, gets destroyed. So they can be used for communication relays, and then, of course, other communication equipment can be supplied. The safety and efficiency has to be increased. The higher resolution cameras and thermal imaging. Of course, fire suppression technologies, unless we increase the payload capacity, you cannot add this effectively. Then, of course, autonomous operations, as I have mentioned, for particularly the internal security matters, either in border or in the city. It doesn't matter, whichever the place. So a programmed route can be given, and then, instead of a traffic cop or a patrolling constable, say a drone can do patrolling and then, report to the control room. Of course, these are the limitations, the battery requirement, then navigation improvement, then, of course, modular designs. The way forward is R&D, the improvement, involvement of the private sector. Anyway, most of the things are done by private sector only. Of course, this is related to 3 services. They should already, of course, the government of India is involved in this one. It's only we don't have much about this situation. Then, of course, awareness is important. The operational framework can be strengthened by licensing, appropriate licensing, then flying permits, preferably online. Then, of course, multi-factor authentication for each of the drone that is flying, then declaration of the restricted zones. So these are the thoughts about the drones in firefighting, rescue operations, and then of course law and order and security operations. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Drone TV, your gateway to the latest in drone technology, GIS innovations, and AI-driven solutions. To partner with us or promote your company on Drone TV, visit www.dronetv.in. Contact us at +917 5201 23555.